and gentlemen. Welcome to Overtime Heroics, and we're joined today by one of the newest additions to Bellator 243. Taking on Valerie Loureda, we got Tara. Hi.
Hi, how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for having me on.
No, thank you for joining us on such short notice. I know you're incredibly busy. You've got a week to prepare for a camp. I know you're flying out tomorrow. So, thank you. So, right off the rip, I mean, the announcement came very, very recently. I think it was a couple of days ago when I caught it. So how long has it been since you knew about the fight?
We've known for a couple weeks, but this has been a long time coming anyway. We were scheduled originally in January, and then potentially June, but then the COVID. So long time coming. Can't stop training. Got to keep going. It's it would happen one day, and the day is here.
Yeah, we're definitely glad to see it. It was a matchup that I was looking forward to in January when it was announced. So yeah, it's good to see that COVID hasn't stopped that. Right. So I mean, how's camp going since? I mean, I'm sure you had to get a plan of action in place immediately. I'm sure you're working hard.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it changes when you have a date. Of course, the camp style is a little different than you're not just lifting or running, whatever the case is. Of course, it changes. It's been very different anyways with the COVID, with training, of course, smaller groups. There was a little stint of time where, I had to take a few days, and it's not like I stopped moving, but I had to take a few days to myself and my family. My other half had surgery, so I was taking care of him. I became a 5th and 1st grade school teacher. Who knew? over the last couple months, So a lot of there was a lot of changes, a lot of home workouts, a lot of one-on-one more sessions. So, but I always push myself no matter what. So I'm still gonna keep working no matter if it's one partner or 10 partners in the room.
Absolutely, and I think I'd actually quite like to ask your opinion on the kind of new styles of training. I mean, obviously, over the water at UFC, we saw Max Holloway talking quite proudly about his Zoom workouts with his coaches. And he looked better than we've ever seen him. So what's your opinion on that? I mean, how have you taken to the change?
Actually, I mean, I adapt very well to change. I honestly don't think it hindered me in any way. I think I've done really well. Like I said, I push myself no matter what. No, if it's just me, if I'm training with someone else, whatever the case is. So.
Sure.
And I've been wanting this, and I've been ready for this for now, 7 months? So. Yeah, I'm training.
And speaking of preparation, I hope you don't mind me saying, I've only ever seen you on fight footage and videos, but you are a lot bigger than what I remember watching you on. And obviously you're moving up to 125 now.
Yeah. I normally fight at 115. I've done a catch weight at 120 and then another bout at 125. But they're all the other ones have been 115. So.
And how are you feeling at 125 now?
I feel great. And I'm on weight. You know what I mean? It's awesome. Cuts were always oh man, here's the end of camp. Here we go. But it's great. I feel awesome.
Yeah, no. And when I initially started looking at the sort of tail of the tape, as it were, I started to notice that there weren't that many, if any, kind of discrepancies between you and Valerie coming up. So was this always on the cards, or was this something that, Bellator came with and you went, why the hell not?
You mean for this particular card?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been on there for the contract was signed, I'd say probably about 3 weeks. So we've known.
Right.
A full camp? No. Absolutely not. But I don't think anybody around this time has had a full camp because of, everything going on. So last minute calls oh, we got a venue. Let's go.
Yeah, great. Well, that's great. So depending on, how successful you are, do you think you'd see yourself having a permanent home at 125?
That's funny you asked that because me and one of my mics. I have three mics in my corners, but my other half mic, he's also my coach. We were talking about it actually last night, and I'm very back and forth, especially feeling how this breeze of a weight cut it is. I've always liked to be the heavier fighter, the bigger, because that's my style. I'm inside, and I like the ground and pound. I like to, hold you tight, So I know it might not work to my advantage if I stay at 125, because there are women that come from a lot higher up than I can even get. But again, I feel great. So we'll see how this goes. I may stay here. We'll see.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've been watching a lot of game tapes on Valerie coming up.
Kinda. I mean, I don't really. I've watched a few. I don't like to. I like to leave that in my coach's hands. I'll watch just to see her style, her movement, how she is, things like that. But then I let my coaches do that. I don't like to focus on the opponent, because I know myself, I have changed so much in even the last time I've been in the cage, the last time anybody has seen me. I like to, and I know everybody's game is to keep it guessing and to learn and grow. And I don't want to judge something off of something that I'm watching that could have happened a year, 2, 3, who knows, I like to work on myself. Yes, know what she's going to do and her mannerisms when she gets tired, or how she reverts back to her muscle memory. But just know that there's changes always being made. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of the game now, especially with women's MMA. I feel like every time you look at it and look away and look back, there's been leaps and bounds,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I love it, It's a male sport, and we can do this. Like, we can do this too. We can do everything you guys can do.
Yeah, I agree. I've not spoken to a single female fighter that wouldn't handily whoop my backside, so I'm inclined to agree with you. That's actually something that a friend of mine he was half joking, half serious, but he put it forward that mixed martial arts might be the most progressive sporting outlet in the world right now. I mean, if you consider the way, as seriously and as much of an even platform people like yourself have, as much as people respect people like Cyborg and Amanda Nunes and things like that. I mean, it's not without its problems, sure. But would you have an opinion on that? What do you think about that?
No, I agree 100%, because it's male and female, and the martial art world as a whole is growing. I wish I would have done things like this when I was young. I'm older, so I'm 34. I didn't do it when I was younger. I wish I would have, in a way. I don't have the wear and tear on my body. Our longevity in the sport is not that long. We take a toll on our body. So, I haven't. My body hasn't been through that. And I think that now, with the kids growing up and being in the martial arts, and the martial arts growing so big, so much, I think, it's going to blossom a lot, even with that generation coming up. I have kids, because I help my other half teach kids, and watching them, I'm like, damn, I'm like blown away. Like, man, I wish I was like 8 and doing this, because these kids are freaks, it's awesome. But yeah, thinking like what they're gonna be like when they're my age, it's crazy. So yeah, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna get bigger and bigger, I think, every year.
I think so, and I think people like yourself, the champ at 125, and a lot of the people in that division, I think you're really kind of making the path by walking it, and I think maybe in I think a maximum of 5 years time, there's going to be a really fleshed out women's division, especially at 125. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a perfect weight for most women. You know, you're either close to walking around that weight, or you're coming from like, 40, possibly 50 coming down. You know, that it's an easy cut, and it's a good class. It's a good weight class, because 15 it's hard for some women, and then when you jump up way up to 35, it's a huge difference between 15 and 35. So 25 it's a good weight class.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Lots of talent too. Lots of talent.
It's a very deep pool, and we are going to get to that. To circle back to something you said, I know you said you don't like to really analyze a lot of game tapes, but do you have any opinions on Valerie's last fight against Larkin? I think I saw a lot of things there for someone of your style that would really quite stick out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she had a little bit, but she was. I don't know. I felt like she wasn't very aggressive. She was. I don't like to down anybody, but I just feel there's a lot missing from her game, and I think it's the experience. I don't think she's had enough cage experience and to pressure somebody that's throwing a lot like Valerie does. She's left-handed and plays into Valerie's favor because of her one of her powers, her kicks. So yeah, I mean, it was all right.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there, especially when it comes to a more educated pressure striker. No disrespect to Larkin Dancer, of course.
No,
I mean, ton of heart, but you wouldn't be throwing the overhands from several feet away the way she would.
Here it comes. Right.
Yeah, no, definitely. Which is kind of brings me onto your style. I mean, it's really impressive to see you, especially when you were at 115. Kind of closing range, getting into the clinch, and I think. Even in your last fight, I think you see girls visibly surprised at the amount of strength you've got in that game as well. Is that something that you're evolving? Have you evolved beyond that as well, or?
Absolutely. I am strong. I do. I can admit that. But I don't know. I like everything. I like the ground. I like to stand. I do. So it's honestly how I feel, the game plan I go in with. But yeah, no, I always feel like I am the stronger fighter for the most part anyway. So
yeah, I think that would be a fair assessment, especially of the run you had at 115.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I like, I like pressure, so.
Definitely. Well, in that sense, let's talk about your last fight. I watched it, obviously, when it happened. I watched it quite recently. And it reaffirmed what I thought. I didn't think any different, that you did, have most of the pressure. You did dominate most of the fight against the cage, on the ground. You were definitely competitive on the feet as well. I mean, what did you think?
There's a lot on that fight. I had just taken that was my second pro fight, and I had just fought my pro debut 28 days before that. So there was a lot. It was very last minute. I think I did okay for that. But I think there was a lot that I didn't show. When I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, it was okay. Do I think I had it? Absolutely. Do I think it should have been stopped? No. I was on my back. Yes, she was trying to flurry, but you could see me working on my back. I was bringing my leg up her back. So I'm not happy with the outcome, because it was by no means a TKO. But, it is what it is. That's why you got to be ready for everything. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks to lose, but, you learn.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Well, speaking of, I mean, what did you take away from that?
My biggest takeaway, I don't know. Just that I wanted to just keep working. Honestly, every aspect, because you never know where it's going to go.
Definitely.
keep pushing hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it in that kind of context, in the vacuum of it being your second pro fight, and within a month of your pro debut,
Yeah.
and obviously with what was a consensus very early stoppage, yeah, I suppose it's just a case of, and obviously with wins and losses in MMA, still being a bit of a mercurial discussion. So yeah, no, I think it's definitely a commendable attitude that you just pick yourself up and you keep going and you work harder, definitely. Um, so when it comes to the 125 division, do you see if you are successful against Valerie and you win that, have you got any eyes towards potential opponents in the future?
No, I don't. I just, like I said, I want to work on me, you know. I do have it is a 3 fight contract, so there's 2 more possibilities. Um, who I don't know. I don't know whoever they want to throw at me, to be honest with you. You know, I know I'm coming into this fight as a feeder fish, so to speak, you know, as the underdog. Um, but I'll take it. You know, I'll take it. Whoever, I don't have my eyes on anyone. I just want to work on myself, work on me. So,
Yeah, I think the fighters with those kind of attitudes definitely succeed, especially in what they're trying to achieve.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of interesting matchups. I think 125 at Bellator is. I think there's a real depth of grapplers there.
Hmm.
Do you think that there's a reason, and it's something that we've discussed internally, and it's something that I may have noticed, but a lot of women's fighters do tend to veer more towards the grappling side. I mean, there's definitely power punchers and definitely accomplished strikers, but I'm seeing a fairly wide depth of, especially ground game grapplers in women's MMA. Do you think there's a reason for that at all? Or?
I mean, I honestly, I think it's both, but I think the grappling side is now more starting to take off. I think the ground game is becoming, people's eyes are opening to it. Like, you know, it's becoming a bigger, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's becoming a bigger sport. Wrestling is becoming a bigger sport everywhere. You know, so I think people see how easily you can turn a game around like that. You know, you can be getting tagged on your feet and, you know, a bloody mess, you know, and you go to the ground and it takes a split second to submit somebody or put them in a bad position and ground and pound, you know. So I think that that's probably why we're starting to see more and more, especially females, use the ground. It's a smart tool to use.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think like what we were talking about earlier about women's MMA kind of becoming much more technical and much more educated. I think there is definitely an element of just there being more knowledge about the ground game now, and I think that's kind of across the sport as well.
I
Um,
love it. I'm going to tell you, like, I had absolutely no clue what anything on the ground was when I first stepped into the cage for the first 3 times. No clue. And then I started doing a little groundwork and I'm like, man, this is kind of cool. Like, you know, and then that's when me and my other half started dating and he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and he opened my eyes to a complete new world and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, you know, because I can just hold you real tight and then choke you. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I love it. I love it.
Definitely, definitely. And so, how's the vibe at Royals now? I mean, I know I've looked at the schedules that are coming up, and it does look as though you're the only one scheduled for a pro fight in 2020. I could be wrong about that, but it does seem as though it's Team Tara for now. Is
For
that
now. For now, yeah. We're a very small school. We're growing. That's my home. You know, we're a family. It's not like one of your giant gyms that, you know, you're just another number. You know, we'll catch you tomorrow. No, you walk in that door, we're family. Like so we're not huge, but I like it like that. You know, I like it like that. Now, I'm not saying, you know, that's nothing bad against any other schools, but having that family and then being able to go out and cross train other places, I like that. I like that, you know.
So there's definitely more of an open invitation, so to speak, where the three mics that you mentioned would say, go and get some different looks from some other guys.
Absolutely. They love it. They love it. Because sometimes I won't pick up as much from someone, or like, man, that's not my style, but I'll try it. I might get something out of it. And then I go somewhere else. I'm like, now he just, or she, whoever, just made that look completely different. And I like it, so it's, you learn better from a lot of people, I think, or different style of people you don't see every day,
Definitely.
But it's always nice to come back home, bring it on back home.
Definitely. Do you think that there's something that's allowed you to kind of maintain your momentum for this fight in the COVID era, whereas someone like Valerie, coming from, a super gym in American Top Team, might now be in a position where she's training in a way she never has? Whereas for you, because it's always been such a small, secular, focused kind of training ideal, do you think that you're potentially at more of an advantage training-wise now?
I mean, honestly, I can't really say. I think it's all in the person. It's all in you. If you can push yourself, then you won't have a problem. But if you need friends and your training partners and all of your coaches to like hound you and be on you and put you through the ropes, then you might have a hard time, because it's, if you're able to do it yourself, I think you will find a way no matter what, and that's kind of, I've had so many things thrown at me, especially the last few months, but you got to maintain, you have to, I put as much hard work as in, as being a mother, as, working, doing my MMA, doing what I love. If you're going to do something, you need to put your all into it no matter what.
Definitely. And will the kids be watching on Friday?
Oh, absolutely. They're already excited. There's one right here. They're so pumped. Look, he's even got my shirt on. They're ready.
I've already got the app downloaded on my iPad.
Is he? I'm assuming this is one of the pound for pound best behaved sons ever.
That's debatable.
Sure.
They're good kids. The
stories of hidings that we would tell at school, I'm assuming his would be on another level.
Don't tell my mom, please. Don't tell my mom.
Definitely. So is it a family thing? Does everybody train, or?
We do. Well, they do jits, and they more like baseball and basketball, but they do, yeah, they're very, very active kids. But they do train jits, not as often as I'm like, man, I wish they would like love it like me, but I don't want to push, I don't like to push something on them. As long as they're active, I'm happy,
I mean, I love it, just not as much as she does. So when she first found it out, I was like, okay, what is this? And then I went to some classes. I was like what she said, that's pretty cool, like stuff like that. And that it can help you throughout your life and stuff.
Help you defend yourself. Yeah. That's right.
Well, don't feel any type of way of that, mate. I mean, I've been doing it for years, and I still ask what it is every single time I'm training. Yeah. So, yeah, no, that's good. I mean, what do you think? I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of discussions about, jiu-jitsu going into the Olympics, potentially, jiu-jitsu being taught in schools. I'm personally very much for it. I mean, what do you think?
Absolutely. I think it would be great. It's a good tool for kids to learn. And, a lot of people kind of look like, oh, well, you're teaching your kid to fight. In a way, you're teaching them to defend themselves. If they're gonna be like, picked on, they have to, because they're kids are mean nowadays, man. They can get nasty, and you have to be able to learn to defend yourself without a weapon, So I think that kids should be learning the jiu-jitsu, at least the basics.
Definitely. Well, I mean, in terms of Bellator 243, Tara, let's talk about the rest of the card. Let's talk about the main event. Who are you picking for that?
I don't know. You can't put me on the spot. I don't want to decide that. I don't want to say.
Okay, well, okay. Well, if you have looked at the card, which fight are you most looking forward to?
I'd have to say, well, of course, mine.
Sure.
The co-main. My God, my brain is not even working right now. What is wrong with me? Oh my goodness. Now I feel all embarrassed.
It's okay. You do have a fight to prepare for. I can't be asking you to do homework at the same time.
No, their names just completely went out of my head, and I don't know why. Patron, my goodness. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the co-main. So, yeah.
Yeah, heavyweight. I think Bellator do heavyweight really well. I think that's what Bellator.
Yeah.
Forward to it. So that's good. I mean, okay. Well, finally, before I let you go, Tara, give us your prediction for your fight, if you don't mind.
I'm gonna come out with my hand raised. I'll say in round 2.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. Well, yeah, that's all the time. That's all the time we've got today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in. Overtime Heroics here with Tara Graff. Now, please be sure to tune in to Bellator 243 on Friday, the 7th of August. And yeah, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and make sure you follow Tara too. Tara will put all of your links from Twitter and Instagram in the bio of the video. Anything else you want to say to the folks at home?
I just want to thank everybody. Thank my team at Royal. It's going to be a good fight. Thank you guys for getting me through everything. Thank you to all my sponsors. I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Great. That's awesome. All right, great. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.
Awesome.